Welcome to the Future of Real Estate, your chance to find out what's going on in real estate and the real estate market. This morning show is brought to you by the Ellis team at RE/MAX Realty Group. RE/MAX's award winner for most transactions in Florida.
With the Ellis team at RE/MAX, it's a family affair. Always call the Ellis team, they'll handle you with care.
Welcome to the Future of Real Estate. I'm Brett Ellis of the Ellis team at RE/MAX Realty Group. I'm joined today by my mother, Sandy Ellis, and it's a wet, blistery day today, isn't it?
It is.
Well, good. I guess we need the rain. Anyway, what I thought I would do is, or we would bring people up to date on some of the changes we're seeing in the real estate market. Now, we've been reporting a long time, and the media's picked up on it. We were in a really hot market, and we wrote an article in this week's news press about, yes, it's hot for a number of reasons. Interest rates are way down and scheduled to go higher. You got the home buyer tax credit. You got shrinking inventory. We've got it's season. We've got buyers here, although we had them all year long last year. So let's not dwell on. Let's just. It's widely accepted. It's a really hot market.
It's a hot market. Yeah.
Okay, so let's focus on some of the challenges in this market, and I think we brought up in this news press article 4 challenges, and appraisals have.
And we've been complaining about appraisals for some time. Maybe a year or two we've been complaining, and they seem to get better, but each time they do, we get new challenges that come with them.
That's right, and we had one lender reporting as many as 30% of his appraisals aren't coming in.
Isn't that incredible?
And we've dealt with some of these issues just on our deals, and these appraisers are not using the best comps in many cases. They're sometimes going outside the area when there's a better comp 2 doors down that closed just in the last month or the last week.
It's almost like they're running scared, Brett. It's like they're going to be challenged for the appraisal that they bring in, and they don't want to be responsible. But, it almost seems like you could be running scared the other way as well, because your duty and obligation is to come in with that fair market value.
Wait till buyers start suing these appraisers for losing
that's
deals.
That's what I'm thinking, yeah. And then the other side of that is...
Well, I think appraisers are under pressure too, because they're getting squeezed in the middle because they have a 1 to 2 days turnaround, so they don't have a lot of time to be doing the research. These appraisal management companies are then taking the 2 to 3 weeks and eating up their time. They're getting less money and being forced to act quicker, when I think they should take more time and get it right than trying to turn around in one. And then these management companies, I don't know what they're doing with these things, but I don't think they're needed.
Yeah, and I have the highest respect for the appraisers, overall, because for years I kept an appraisal license, and I sat in continuing ed with them all the time. And their ethics and integrity, it's just second to none. These guys were always trying to do the right thing. But in doing that now, we're getting a totally different product, and sometimes it doesn't even relate to the neighborhood. We had one recently where the appraisal came in. It's a neighborhood that was a condo vision, and it came in as if it were single family, and they compared lot sizes when in fact the owner didn't own the lot. They owned 1/204th of the whole subdivision.
Well, and see, these appraisers aren't
Not
taking the
good
time, and they're not really fully understanding the communities. But I don't think they have a lot of time, and they're doing forced turnaround. And I think I too have the highest respect for appraisers as a whole, and I don't think they're intentionally doing this. I think they just don't know the neighborhoods, and they're being forced to do too much too soon. With not enough resources, and a lot of the time is getting eaten by the management company. So we know if 30% of our financed deals are having appraisal issues, it's no wonder why banks and sellers are preferring cash deals, and we're loaded with cash deals too. And that brings us to point number 2. Our finance buyers are having to compete with investors coming in because they're scooping up these low prices. Let's cut to the graph so we can show people a little bit about what's going on. Now, this is a historical chart the last couple of years, and you can see sales build every month. We've been setting records all throughout 2009, and we expect 2010 to be to build as well. And what happens is, see these April and May sales in June? They're a culmination of things that happen in March. March is kind of our peak season, and it typically takes about 30 days to get a deal closed, but that can go.
Well, even today, I think it's maybe even a little bit longer than that, Brett. Sometimes 30 to 40
but our
to
cash
45
deals might
days,
be 14
yeah.
days, 21 days.
Absolutely.
And
So an average would definitely be 30, yeah.
70% of our deals are cash deals, so it's the financing. But you can understand why a bank who's got a foreclosure doesn't want to accept a finance deal, because they can't even get their own appraisals to come in. They're getting more money on the cash than they could get on the finance deals.
It's one of those situations where they had some change, but the change and the cure was worse than the disease.
Absolutely.
So we fixed something that didn't probably need fixing.
And we've been reporting on this for well over a year. Now, I just spoke to an agent who works out at Mystique, and she was telling me that, all last year they couldn't crack $400,000 in that whole building. And now this year they've not only cracked 4, they're in the 5s, and they just got one now that's right around close to 6. And most of these are cash deals. But now, prices are really shooting up. And where their buyers are coming from Sanibel, they're looking at Sanibel, those high prices, and coming back into South Fort Myers and finding out it's a bargain. And prices are really shooting up. And that's not something uncommon. We're seeing that a lot, aren't we?
Well, we're seeing definitely pressure on the prices. I'm not seeing them shoot up everywhere, though. It depends on the product. It depends on the location.
And see, that's $500,000, $600,000 price range.
Right,
We're not
right.
seeing that in the $1 to $2 million yet.
No.
Maybe one day we will. We'll have to see.
You know that we will, but it's one of those things that you just have to wait.
But we've seen it in the 60, 70,000. Some of those have shot up 15%.
True.
Just because these investors are coming in, these things cash flow, and these regular buyers, and that brings us to point number 3. We've got regular buyers who are being shut out of the process because they're trying to finance. And these investors are scooping in and paying more than they can and, whatnot. And then we have out-of-town buyers who really don't know the market. They've read the media reports, hey, Florida's on sale, and they think, well, I don't pay full sticker price for anything. And then they're disappointed when they miss out on their first, second, third, fourth, fifth choice.
And actually, some of them even call me. Maybe they're working with another realtor and they're making offers on property that we have listed for sale. And I've had to say to them, look, your realtor's doing everything right. It's just the market. And you need to listen to the realtor sooner,
But
rather than to lose out 6 or 7 times before you finally say, oh, and then blame someone else.
Now, we've got the Butthead Buyers, and we've got the
what buyers?
The Butthead Buyers.
Butthead, okay.
Yeah, those are the ones that want to argue with you and say, they came back at counter, I'm going to go $500 less, and I know everything. And then they, we had one where they missed out, and then they're mad. Hey, I wanted that property. Well, you had the chance. You didn't step up.
Well,
and another buyer beat you to it.
Some of the what you call the butthead buyers actually are pretty astute, but they're astute maybe in their own marketplace, or they have cousin Wally, who has a real estate license or an appraiser license or something somewhere else, who's giving them good advice, but it isn't good for
this
here.
is how we do it in
marketplace.
California. This is how we do it in Minnesota.
Yeah.
But that's not this market now.
Yeah, that's right.
And the way we do things today isn't the way we did things 2 years ago. This
Or
market changes.
Sometimes even last month.
Exactly. And then we've got the regular buyers who are offering $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 over asking price.
And some of them still lose out.
And they're still missing out.
Yeah, but they don't have the same degree of frustration, I think, as the out-of-town buyers do, who really
I think they do.
are trying to figure it out.
I think they've got more frustration because they feel like, hey, I offered $15,000 over asking, and I still lost out, and I've lost out on 5 properties. I'm getting tired of missing out on these deals.
And basically, they've done everything they should have done. They've gotten pre-qualified with the lender. They're good to go.
Those are the ones I feel the worst for because they're doing everything right, and they're still missing out on these multiple offers. And the buttheads aren't doing everything right, and they're a little bit of their own failure, So it's our job to educate the people about our local market, and they either listen to us and they allow us to help them. If they don't, then we can't help them. Nobody can.
We can only help if you're willing to listen. That's true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for our regular buyers that are doing everything they can, let's say if you're pre-qualified up to $92,000, that's all you can do. And maybe you've got an $80,000 property, you've offered 12 over, and the winning bid takes it at 97. Okay, you've done all you can do, and we just got to go get the next one.
That's right.
And that's what we're doing. But agents are working hard, and buyers are working hard, but there's frustration in this market. And then the last point in that article, we talked about title issues. Got about a minute and a half left. Title. That's something that can kind of creep up at the end because some of these banks aren't doing full title until they get a contract, and then they find out, whoa, we got a little problem here.
Yeah, and I think we even had one, Brett, that didn't they have to go back and re-foreclose that property all over again. That doesn't happen very often, and most of the time the ducks are in a row. So I wouldn't really have a fear of that.
But there could be hiccups
But
where
you need to know there could be hiccups.
you're negotiating with maybe a homeowner association who's trying to collect a little extra than what the law allows. Hey, don't blame them for trying, but it can hold up closing.
We've had some closings held up because associations actually changed homeowners associations also. And sometimes the correct paperwork was sent to them, sometimes not. So
Right. Well, great. You've been watching The Future of Real Estate presented by the Ellis team at RE/MAX. Don't forget to check out our website, topagent.com. If you want to call us, 239-489-4042. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with Hot Properties.